Hi everyone, it is Kerry-Jean Watson again. Been a bit off the radar lately, but I have still been creating. I did a mini album a few weeks ago, which I really enjoyed creating, and it was just a mash of a whole heap of papers that I had in my stash. This time I wanted to make another one for myself, but I was using the 75-cent collection by Kerry-Jean, that one there. I really like the colours, I really like the graphics and the motifs that they use. And I had 3 of the mini pads and needed to use up some of my stash. So I ended up creating this one. I'm really happy with it. I made a few mistakes which I'll talk about as I go through it, things not to do in the future. So I've used what I call the stacking system with the hinge. I'll show you that in a moment. I ended up making a lot more mats than I needed, so I ended up putting pockets in the back and the front. More mats, more photos, more places to put things. So I didn't do any tri-folding with this one. This one's basically just the pages by itself, with pockets within it. So they came out really well. I just used a cream coloured cardstock for the base, which just makes it lovely sort of, it's quite elegant, but at the same time quite, what's the word I'm looking for, gentle and soft. I could have used a black cardstock for the back, and I felt that might have been a little bit too heavy, so I chose to keep it the cream. Now, the mistake I made, when I made all of the mats for the main pockets, these ones here, I hadn't added, or I hadn't created the book, so I hadn't put the page onto the hinge. So I just sort of went, yeah, the mat's probably going to be about that big. Now remember, when you do a hinge or a sort of pocket page like this, the hinge is a certain amount. These hinges are 1 inch, and I didn't think of that before I made it. So when these go in, sometimes they go in okay, sometimes they don't. So that was just something I need to pay attention to in the future. But again, I just work with it as it is. Really loving this one, and I've used a lot of the ephemera that came with the pads, and I also had a packet of the collectibles from Kerry-Jean as well. That one can actually go that way, which I really like. I'm not usually a big fan of greens, but this collection, because of the blacks and the tan colour, just came out really well. And I used, I think it was antique linen, yeah, antique linen for my inking on the edges. I didn't want to go as heavy as Vintage Photo, which is sort of my go-to, or Walnut Stain, which is also my go-to. I wanted to keep it that sort of light-ish sort of ensemble, so that's why I used the antique linen. I could have also gone with tea dye or aged paper, I think, but I chose the antique linen, and it came out really well. Oh, and I've also got, I've missed one, here we go. So there's also a pocket through there. So what I've got is I've got a half pocket, no pocket, and then a full pocket. The full pockets, I think, can actually come down 1/2 inch from the top and still be a full pocket with the little cutout. That's just something I've been sort of tweaking over the years while I've been making these, and I think it's something that I would prefer to have that just down a little bit, because sometimes, like I just did, you forget that it's there. On some of my other ones, what I've done is I've actually put a tab. I've actually added tabs to the mats that go on the inside of these full pockets, but I think if it comes down just an just a ½ inch, it'll look really, really good. And then I just had bits and pieces left over, so I made some sort of bookmark size mats, which I really like. Out of the whole collection, that's probably my favourite page. I really like that sort of aged paint peeling, you know, bits of wallpaper. It's just lovely. I've got some more mats in here. See, this is the problem, is sometimes they end up catching, and it's not because I'm putting 2 in there. It does that even when there's just 1 in there, so it's just something I need to think about, is to make up all the pages and put it onto the hinge before I make the mats. So just making sure I do it in a proper process and order so that this doesn't happen again. I really like having the little pockets at the back because it means that you can, you know, have, you know, if you've got extra photos or something that you want to add to the book, you can just sort of pop them in there as well. I might actually look at doing pockets on the back of the main pages as well, because at the moment my main pages are quite bare. They've just got, you know, either a bit of pretty or just the page, and I think I could actually utilize that as well, because I've got quite a bit of space in here to be able to work with in terms of adding a bit more bulk. I really like these little, the smaller page that I add, the little pocket. That's really, really great. So this one's really good. I really do still like the tri-fold, so adding the extra fold in, sometimes doing just a double fold or a tri-fold, so you've got like it all opens out. I rather like that, and it also uses up a lot of that real estate that you've got between your pages, which is really great as well. But sometimes it's nice to just have a simple plain book like this. Not sure what I'm going to use this one for yet. I'm about to finish a photo journal, so maybe after that I might go on to the last one I made and then probably leave this one for an event or something. Looking at maybe going off on a bit of an adventure at some point next year, so might leave this one for then. I might make up more during the time between now and then, so who knows. The other mistake I made was when I did the cover, I didn't let it dry, and you can just see the little bits of white in there, and that's because I got a little bit rough with it before the glue had dried. So a few things I need to remember is allow the glue to dry on the cover, and also add the pocket pages to the hinge and the book before making the mats. And it's important to realize these processes, because you don't want to make a project and then go, oh well, that didn't work. It's important to sort of look at a project and go, these are the things I did wrong, which this is how I can do them better, and then remake the project. That's how I work anyway with everything, and I find it a really great tool to use for myself. So I have a few better ideas of making mini albums now, so keep an eye out on my YouTube page and also my blog, which you can follow at blog.kerry-jean-watson.com. I'll put a link in the description. And also go and check out my Etsy store, which is kerry-jean-watson.com as well. And have a look at what papers. I am working on a new collection at the moment, which should be out before December. It is not a Christmas collection. Just my attitude is because the market is so saturated with Christmas around this time of year, everyone else can do the Christmas products and I will just do my pretties. So that's another mini album for this time. Happy crafting, and we'll see you next time.